So in the aftermath of Bob Myers stepping down as the president and general manager of the Golden State Warriors, how are the players reacting? How is Dub Nation reacting to one of the best basketball executives in the history of the NBA no longer being a part of this organization? We're going to talk about that and the ramifications that could come with Bob Myers' departure. First, though, how are the Dubs without Bob Myers? Are they better? Are they worse? You have an opportunity to let your voices be heard here on Warriors Today for thousands of people to see. Type B for better or W for worse. As for why Bob Myers is leaving, he talked about that in his press conference yesterday. And of course, it comes as a little bit of a surprise, but this is something that this organization was bracing for. And this is something that we had discussed for a long while. That if you read the tea leaves, we were right on this, it looked as though he was no longer going to serve in that role as president and general manager. Here's what he had to say for himself. You can't make it to a day like this anymore without everyone knowing what you have to say. This is tough. This is hard. I have so many different things, emotions that I'm still processing, but the bottom line is the job. The one that I'm in. And I would say this, for any professional general manager or coach, requires complete engagement, complete effort, 1,000%. If you can't do it, then you shouldn't do it. I can't do that to our players. I can't do that to Joe Lacob. I really can't do it to myself. And that's the question I've been wrestling with. I've only known how to do things one way my whole life, and that's all the way. So clearly, Bob Myers feels a little bit worn out. He feels a little bit gassed. He feels a little bit worn down from being an executive over the last 9 years and winning 4 NBA championships. And look, when you celebrate some of those championships, he has 4 of them, 2-time NBA Executive of the Year, he's made a bunch of great moves for Golden State, you're playing deep into the season. You're playing into June. Then the NBA draft comes, NBA free agency right after that, and you barely get a breath before the regular season starts because preseason is only a few weeks away. So I can see why he's getting worn down a little bit. I saw somebody in the comment section yesterday calling Bob Myers a sellout. You're going to call Bob Myers a sellout when he did his job to a great level of success, won 4 NBA championships, was a 2-time Executive of the Year, drafted Draymond Green, hired Steve Kerr, traded for Andre Iguodala, signed Kevin Durant, and will go down as one of the best front office executives in the history of the game. To me, that's not a sellout. That's one of the best of all time. So you got to be careful with what you say about a guy who was at the peak of his powers for a really long time and put this organization in a position to have great levels of success. More from Bob Myers. We haven't gotten everything right. I did get yelled at a few times about how he didn't sign a big man at the buyout. It's not as easy as everyone thinks. We do love big guys contrary to popular belief. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your passion, understanding that we are human. Now, Bob Myers, of course, did make some mistakes. James Wiseman's selection, his developmental process was too slow for the Dubs. We'll see about Jonathan Kuminga, as well as Moses Moody. A couple of the other picks, not signing some guys, whether it be in free agency or the buyout market like he talked about, but the dude helped construct 4 NBA championships. At that point, sometimes you get too nitpicky. Is he a top 10 executive of all time? Y for yes or N for no. You know what the top shorts are in my wardrobe? Bird dogs. Bird dogs. Not only do I love the style of these shorts, camo today, the fit, the material, stretchy fabric, but also they have a built-in liner, as you can see on the photo here, which keeps everything in place, which is really important for all the fellas out there. Birddogs.com, promo code chat. When you make your first purchase, you get a free Yeti-style tumbler. Are you looking for shorts that not only look great but feel great too? Look no further than Bird Dogs. As a regular viewer of the show, you know we're all about personal stories. We're telling a story about Bob Myers right now. Bird Dogs has one to share as well. It's spring. Summer is coming up at the end of the month. I've been wearing Bird Dogs for their amazing fit. Not only do they make me look great, but they make me feel confident and comfortable all day long. And with their stretchy fabric, Bird Dog shorts hug your legs in all the right places while still allowing for freedom of movement. Don't believe me? Try them out for yourself. Click the link in the description. Head to birddogs.com. Enter that promo code CHAT to get that free Yeti-style tumbler with your first purchase to keep your coffee hot or your drinks cold. I've been wearing Bird Dogs for a really long time. You see me rock them on the show, and now I'm showing you here how cool they are, how stretchy they are, how comfortable they are, and with that material, it's high quality. You'll have these shorts for a really long time. Great money for your investment. Some might call that an ROI, return on investment. All right, what is next for the Golden State Warriors here? Where do they turn? Who's going to replace Bob Myers? Could some players leave because Bob Myers is no longer running things for this basketball organization? Bob Myers on Mike Dunleavy Jr. Mike's great. He'll be as good of a GM if he wants it. It will be great if that's what he wants, but it's his call. It's Joe's call. It's not my call, but he's really good, and he would be fantastic if that's a choice. But I'd be lying if I thought 4 years ago, let's bring in Mike, and he can assume this thing. I told him if that's what he wants, then I'm fully supportive. I said I'll help with Draymond if he needs it. So Mike Dunleavy Jr. is kind of the name that we've been talking about here, but Joe Lacob's son is also a name to watch. Joe Lacob on a replacement said this, but I'd be lying if I thought 4 years ago, let's bring in Mike. This is coming from Joe Lacob, and he can assume this thing. I told him if that's what he wants, yes, that's what he wants. Joe Lacob on the new CBA, we're going to win no matter what. I don't care what the rules are. I love that mentality from an owner, by the way. We are going to figure out a way to do it. That's what good organizations do. They figure out a way to win the game, and our game is to win games and win NBA championships. So Mike Dunleavy Jr., he was drafted by the Dubs, spent several seasons with Golden State. He's kind of climbed the ladder, pro scout in the front office, assistant GM. He was a sniper back in the day shooting the basketball. He does have some of the prerequisites that it takes to step in for Bob Myers. But Kirk Lacob is also being talked about as Bob Myers' replacement. That is Joe Lacob's son. Could the owner hire his son? What a cool partnership that could be for their family. Big decisions do need to be made soon, obviously, because the NBA draft is coming up here in just a couple of weeks. We'll cover it here on Warriors Today, and then free agency right after that. Bob Myers' contract runs out at the end of June, but he's not going to be a part of the draft process, it sounds like. How confident are you in the future of the Dubs? Look, when you still have Steph Curry, you still are going to be a player to win an NBA championship. Scale it for me 1 to 10. What to also monitor here, there's some buzz growing, and there's been some chatter that Draymond Green, who has a really good relationship with Bob Myers, could also leave. Draymond Green has a player option. If he opts out, he becomes a free agent. Opts in, it's a 1-year deal. Usually Bob Myers would be the one negotiating. He's no longer going to be the one negotiating. Does the new general manager have a different plan for Draymond as compared to what Bob Myers' plan may have been? These are important things to consider. These are important things to talk about. Draymond recently said this about his relationship with Bob Myers, and I think this is telling, and that's why we're talking about it here. Bob Myers means the world to me. Working with him has been a complete honor. He's great. He knows the business, and I learned from him. To say that doesn't matter, it's a lie. Of course it matters. But there's a bunch of things to take into account. Yes, that is one of the things that matters, all right? But ultimately, I can't hinge my whole decision on that. But effing right, it does matter. So Draymond said it himself, and that's why we're discussing it here. If Draymond said himself that Bob Myers being there matters, then of course it matters. And Steph Curry was not drafted by Bob Myers, but Bob Myers has been his right-hand man in this front office for a long time, and he's given Steph Curry a lot of money, and Steph Curry has made a lot of money thanks to the negotiations with Bob Myers. Before the trophies and the memories over this run, I remember I told you, you better get it right, and you did. The GM role, it was great. You did your thing, but forever grateful for you as a friend forever. Change each other's lives. Enjoy the next chapter, my guy. Thank you, Bob. Great words there from the always classy Steph Curry. Andre Iguodala. To more life, Robert. Appreciate you. They must be really close if he's calling him Robert. And then KD also reached out to Bob Myers after he announced that he was stepping away. Durant called me today. He was in Monaco. What he did for us showing up here, knowing what he would hear about when he made that decision, for him to have that courage, that was awesome. So Bob Myers will be missed in Golden State. He's going to go down as a great executive for this team. Some people have said he wasn't the architect of some of the Warriors' championship runs, but he literally put the rosters together, and he made some really pivotal decisions. The trade for Andre Iguodala, he was a great two-way player for this team, who won NBA Finals MVP back in 2015 and locked down LeBron James. Did the core of Steph, Clay, and Draymond help convince Kevin Durant to sign with them? Maybe, but Bob Myers still put together the contract and signed Kevin Durant. He hired Steve Kerr. And then lastly, he drafted Draymond Green. Did the Warriors win 4 championships in 9 years without their ultimate glue guy and the glue that kept this team together in Draymond, one of the best defensive players of all time? You can make the argument, no. So Bob Myers was a part of that. His fingerprints all across the Warriors' success over the last near decade. Make sure you subscribe to the show. It is Golden State Warriors Today. Thanks for being here with us, and we'll catch you next time here on Dubs Today.